You are watching Life on Gabriola TV, community television, for you, by you.
I guess what I want to start off with is the reality that what you actually see is, like me, but I am only the end result of generations of elders and ancestors that had to work very hard to hang on to all of this, call it knowledge. Everything here is a result of a lasting relationship.
I'll just take out this little nose part, slice it that way, and then that should just rip right out. Get to about there, and then I want to snap it and twist. That should come out. Sweet. So that looked easy, but I've been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah.
Sharp knife helps.
Jared Qwustenuxun is a relative of mine from the Qwustenuxun tribe, and when we thought about doing a workshop around food, we thought of Jared immediately because Jared is, he's more than an Indigenous chef. He is a food sovereignty activist.
And then I stick 4 holes 3 times. I take the wider sticks for the head of the fish. Now this part always messes me up. Do I go this way or the other way? I go this way. Yeah, perfect. Then do that all the way down the fish 3 times. 1, and 2, and then 3. Nice. That's what holds it open, right? Yeah.
Should I be able to recognize, or do I ask what kind of salmon it is?
You can ask if you like, but you should be able to
I
recognize.
should, right? I had that feeling, but I don't.
It's okay. Does anybody recognize it? There's only one that really looks like this.
Color, sockeye.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sockeye. Yeah, it's very red. And then I take it and I put head down. A lot of different elders will argue it should be head up or it should be like this. I go head down because that's where the widest area of the animal is, and so I want it to get hotter, right? So that it doesn't wind up raw while the other part is overdone. And I give it a few twists and throw it by the fire. Sweet. Cool. So yeah, we use either the ocean spray wood, or there are families that use red cedar, but it usually has to be like soaked. And so, but I don't have to soak these. They live in my smokehouse, so that they're probably a little bit resonated. That's what's going on there.
He really, he comes with so many teachings. He was raised by his grandmother for part of his life, and he understands the importance of food and in our cultural ways, and the importance of bringing back our traditional foods that we have lost through colonization in some ways. Not all of it, but some of it definitely. And he understands the importance of what that means and what food sovereignty means, that how important it is to have, how it's just such a healthy traditional diet that we had within our culture, and many people still do practice our traditional diet, but it's an amazing healthy diet. The traditional Northwest Coast proverb is that when the tide is out, the table is set, and that really I think that says a lot about our food and where our food comes from.
Carrot in there. So the elders would, like say, we leave them in there until they stop dancing. So like if you listen, it's in there, hopping around, right?
Hi Tapka. Tala. No what's aptly my clacking at the almost follow it. Hi Tapka Siam the Sia. Shan no what's aptly I'm shawsome in order to be here today. So I raise my hands up to everybody for having to go out of their way to be able to be here today with us. I want to highlight just a few things, and then I want to do a song, and then we're going to start the beat. I guess what I want to start off with is the reality that what you actually see is, like me, but I am only the end result of generations of elders and ancestors that had to work very hard to hang on to all of this, knowledge. I am the end of a line of hard work. Everybody looks at me and says, "Oh, Jared, look at all your work." I'm not the one who did the harvesting. Okay? I'm not the one who had to actually harvest all of this, like fish. I'm not the one who had to harvest this herring roe, or this, seaweed, or these like dried clam. Everything here is a result of a lasting relationship that I have spent my entire life having to create to be able to have access to all of these wonderful foods. But all we have to do is eat them. That's the easiest of all jobs, is to eat it. But recognizing that when we have that to eat, we are supporting the harvesters, the ones who are there to hang dry these things, the ones who are actually out on the land having to watch the water, having to watch, the seaweed, the ones who are helping the youth to learn how to harvest those clams, or, how to harvest this, sockeye, right? But we cannot underestimate the value of having something to eat. Every time we eat, whatever we choose to eat supports an entire system of harvesters and chefs and craftsmen that we probably never even meet. And that whenever we eat, we choose which system we support. And if we did not deliberately eat all of this food, none of those things would happen, right? If you don't eat traditionally harvested or even just regular indigenous foods, the entire indigenous food system will slowly evaporate. So events like this are so integral to the survival of our indigenous food system, as a way to support all those harvesters and all those elders that have had to work for as long as they've had to work for in order for this to happen.
The salmon is probably our most important food source. We have in Snuneymuxw, the dog salmon ceremony is integral to our origin stories and to who we are as a people. The salmon is our number one diet protein source. Food sourcing is obviously practical because we need to have a healthy diet to sustain and nourish our bodies. But also the spiritual side of food is just as important, and how we respect the source of that food, how we respect the fishers, the hunters, the cooks, the people who prepare that food, and how that food source is respected in itself.
Okay, everybody want to come eat? Can we please get the elders up here and try to look after elders?
In our culture, the importance and the sharing and the protocols around food is an important Snuneymuxw. It's a teaching. It's a fundamental basis of our existence and of who we are as a people. So Breaking Bannock is really a reflection of that important cultural Snuneymuxw around food. I think the Pi'qwun Salmon event was really special because Jared is, he is such a force in that kind of Indigenous chef food sovereignty world, and it was such a special day to be at the net loft on the waterfront to bear witness to how the Pi'qwun salmon is barbecued, to learn about that, and then with the storytelling as well, just rounding out that whole experience. I think the people there who attended that event they were in for more than a treat. It was just an all-around amazing experience.